What's going on, guys? Welcome to August's episode of Plus Club, the show where we play the games offered on PlayStation Plus throughout the month, and at the end of the month, we talk about it like a book club. My name's Seth, and joining me today is Chevy. Chevy, how you doing? And are you excited to talk about PGA Tour, 2K23, Death's Door, and Dreams, the games we played in August?
Doing all right. I don't know if excited is the right word, but I'm here to talk about them.
All right. Well, you played all three games. And I played all three games. I'm excited to talk about these because this is kind of a rare month where we get little bite-sized games. A lot of times we'll get like these big, huge games that I can't devote the whole month trying to beat all three of them, but we do what we can. This month, though, we got Dreams, which is, we'll talk about it, but it is what you want out of it basically. And Death's Door is action game, and one's golf. So it's kind of refreshing to be able to talk about those things. But before we talk about those games, we don't know what the games for September are yet, but there is a leak apparently from a leaker who has gotten things right before, saying that one of the three games we're getting in September is Saints Row, and that's the new Saints Row that came out that I forgot existed, honestly, and I bought it originally. So that there's a good chance this could be fake. There's a good chance this guy's got a reputation, though, that this could be one of the games in September. So, with as little information as we have, possibly not accurate. Maybe it is accurate. What do you think about possibly playing Saints Row?
Well, I wasn't going to play it otherwise, so.
So no interest.
Not really.
Okay. I played this. I can't talk about it just in case this is the game. I don't know, but I did play the game. I ran into a lot of bugs, including one where multiplayer did not work correctly, and that was why I bought the game in the first place. So I stopped playing it. So I am interested in seeing, first off, where this game has gone since the last time I played it. Hopefully there's no bugs. Hopefully they're minimal, if there is any, and hopefully that multiplayer works. And then it would have been nice to be able to continue playing this game when I bought it, because I kind of rolled the dice when I bought it in the first place. And didn't really get to figure out if I liked the game or not, because I didn't get to play it long enough, because I couldn't access features that the game was supposed to have. So this could possibly be a redemption arc, or more reason for me to not play the game ever again. But we'll find out once we find out if this is one of the three games. But once we find out, we will let you guys know, unless you guys already know, and then we will talk about it in September. But anything else to say? All right, so let's jump into the games we did play, which were PGA Tour, 2K23, Death's Door, and Dreams. Also, let me know in the comments, if you guys think this is real, if you're excited for Saints Row, and what games do you want from PlayStation Plus in September. Over on Reddit when we have the conversation, a lot of people will tell me they're not happy with the month. I'll ask them what they want. And everybody's got, their specific things that they're, hoping for when it comes to PlayStation Plus. And so it's always interesting to hear that. Okay, so let's jump into the games we played. And let's start with, it's an easy one, PGA Tour 2K23. If you didn't get a chance to play PGA Tour 2K23, it's a golf game where you take a metal stick, you hit a white ball really far until it gets close to a hole, and then you tap it into the hole eventually. This one, it's a very simplistic way to describe golf. This game offers a career mode, character creator, a casual online mode, and a ranked mode where you can play against other people. It has a 2v2 mode that I didn't get to try out, but it sounded kind of interesting. Sadly, it didn't have a versus bot mode. Otherwise, we might have tried it. But we did try out the multiplayer. We'll talk about that. We did run into an issue, so that will also be something worth talking about. Although that could have been either the game or PSN. We'll talk about it. And you can also just play golf. You don't have to commit yourself to a career campaign. And we both played it. And let's jump into your impressions of PGA Tour 2K23 in August.
Okay. Well, first things first, in typical sports game fashion, there were a million prompts to get through before I could actually get to the game. So that's one thing I don't enjoy about sports games, is that, and I know they're trying to sell, stuff, but it kind of reminds me of like playing not the last Forza, but the Forza before that, where like middle, like in between races or whatever, a screen will pop up and be like, "You don't have this add-on, you should buy this. You don't have Xbox Live, you should buy this."
That happened when you invited me to a game. As soon as the game started up, before I could even interact with the menus, thing had popped up and told me there's stuff to buy. I'm like, okay, yeah, okay,
Yeah, every time I went back to the main menu, there was a new one. So I don't like that. I wish they could find a better way to do that other than just completely taking over the game. But I suppose I was forced to pay attention to it. So it served its purpose in that regard, but I am not the demographic anyways for buying a bunch of add-ons for sports games. But I also can't imagine the main demo would want to have their gameplay interrupted to be reminded they don't own part of the game, because I'm sure they're keeping track of it anyways.
It's probably much people don't care either. So
yeah, well, yeah, I'm sure there's a large contingent of casual, I only play sports games people who probably don't even pay it any mind. So that being said, once you get in, the game has all the stuff I kind of expected for a sports game, and in a good way. Be able to make a character, be able to have career mode, online, offline modes. I do believe this has same console co-op. I don't know. I didn't really look into it, but when I was looking at multiplayer modes, I think I saw that. I could be wrong. Don't hold me to that one. And then it does have, like you had mentioned, a variety of multiplayer modes online, which I was happy to see because we have played sports games in the past where there wasn't really like good ways to just play with your friends outside of like just straight up going online and doing like versus stuff. So I was glad to see that me and you could just like have a private room and play. Yeah, other than that, the controls are pretty much what I remember, except for the push instead of pull the joystick for swinging. I didn't quite grasp. I felt like they're trying to make it more involved than it really needed to be for what you're doing. But I could have just been missing something there. I definitely preferred using the joystick to pull back and then flick stick forward to shoot. Though I learned real quick that if I don't turn my hand a certain way, I will shoot to the left. So I had to adjust pretty to even get any consistency in my shooting. Yeah, I did 3 or 4 games, 2 offline, three offline, and then 1 online with you. Courses are different and varied, which is nice. Some of the greens really annoy the crap out of me, but that's the way these games work, where there's multiple different like hills and stuff like that, so it's really hard for your ball to sit still once it lands. Which is part of it, obviously. The courses are rated, so you can see which ones people like, which I appreciate as well. It does have the character creator, like I mentioned earlier, though it is kind of basic. Though they do have a clothing store, which is kind of cool, that you can go through, earn money, and buy new outfits and stuff. And it seems like they add more as it goes, which is a nice thing. But I didn't feel like there were a lot of options to like make a character. So I would say in future iterations, maybe improve upon that a little bit. And
on that note, you guys are seeing gameplay right now. It's either going to be gameplay of like my first couple rounds, because for some reason the footage that I got on my PS5 wasn't there when I went to put it on my flash stick. So you're seeing early footage of when I first played the game, but also the other footage I had that didn't disappear was character creator. So you guys are seeing that at some point in this video. Just kind of explaining why that's even there, because I was like, oh shit, we got to shoot this now, and the footage I wanted to use doesn't exist, so I got to use me doing horrible in the footage and my goofy character that I hope you guys can appreciate. But yeah, I agree. The character creator was more robust than I expected, honestly, but not the best thing ever either.
Yeah. Well, and then they also let you buy like golf clubs and different balls and stuff like that. You also get to make a very, very basic caddy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, outside of that, it is pretty much what it is. It's golf, and in that regard, I think it does exactly what it needs to do, to the point where I was having a good enough time with it. I could sit down and play it. I would probably opt to see if there were other golf games, maybe on either console or PC. It doesn't really matter to me. I would play with the controller either way, I think.
Yeah, I don't know how you would play on mouse and keyboard.
I don't know either. I'm sure probably have to like move the mouse, instead of the joystick. But yeah, I didn't hate it. It just has a lot of the things I don't like about sports games in general, like to reiterate the pop-up ads and stuff like that. I hate that. And that's not even necessarily because it's a sports game as much as like I just don't like pop-ups interrupting whatever I'm doing. Yeah. I think the only thing really I've left to add is the graphics were not as good as I was expecting.
They're not good
for a modern day sports game, because usually that's kind of like one of the big reasons you play a sports game is like they try to make it a little more on the realistic side, and this has some very basic looking characters, and then the course itself is fine, but the surrounding area around the course is really bad.
Looks like low end last gen.
Yeah, and I know this isn't like super important, but
yeah,
you're not doing a whole lot here. You could try to make the experience a little more immersive,
especially when you're playing multiplayer and you're waiting for the other person to take their shot, and you really get to sit there and take in the views. They're not great. And on that note, we played multiplayer. This does default to the thing in a prior golf game we have reviewed on Plus Club, where everyone plays at the same time, which is really bizarre. It makes sense to me, but it's not what I prefer, because when I play a golf game, I like the idea of like taking time to take the shot, relaxing, having a more casual social experience. And in this game, and I think the other one, which might have been another PGA, I don't remember, it has this mode where like you're just shooting while the other guy's shooting at the same time, and you're not really seeing each other's characters or anything. Like, and then if you finish shooting, this game does it, and the last game we played did it. If you finish before the other person, it just makes you stare in one direction. You can't control the camera, you can't spectate. And on my screen, it was slowly just kind of panning off away from the hole, just into nothingness. And I was like, you couldn't like give me something to look at, or at least like let me with R1, L1, like change points of views on the, like, this feels so vacant in terms of like features that, and I get why they probably do it. It's like this, it's more streamlined. A whole 18 whole course will go faster if everyone's shooting at the same time, as opposed to waiting on each other. But I feel like if you're trying to play that way and you're trying to get that going fast, I don't even know why you're playing a golf game in the first place, because golf is about like someone takes their shot and you kind of sit there and watch them, and then you take your shot and you take the turns. And that default mode, it just feels chaotic, where everyone's just shooting their balls at the same time, and while you're shooting yours, you'll see someone else's ball go flying off. And I'm just like, that's so, I get it, but it's not my preference. Luckily, you looked into the options, you were able to find where it does let you take turns, and you get to see the character models then. So
thank you for that.
Yeah, there is, what we're looking for in the game. You just have to go find it. So that was interesting. Also, another thing worth mentioning is we got to about hole 9 or 10, and I got disconnected. I couldn't reconnect. I had to reconnect my game to the internet, because it's like, you're not connected to the servers. I'm like, okay. And then he tried to reinvite me, and I couldn't get in. So we didn't continue after that, because I didn't want to restart.
Yeah. I don't think that was the game, though.
Could have been the game. Could have been PSN. Was on our internet, because it was working just fine. So that was annoying, but not something I'll dock the game for, because that could just be a server issue. We could have played on the one day there was like some weird server issue.
It could have been NAT stuff too, because I couldn't use the voice chat in PlayStation anymore either. So
yeah, so something happened. I don't think it was probably the game's fault, so I won't be docking it for that. But if I played the game more, and that kept happening, we could maybe have that conversation. But it was the only time I saw it. So yeah. Anyway, with all that said, you're good on your impressions. This game is fine. I think a golf game should just be fine. And if it's better than fine, great. But for the most part, I want to hit a ball. I want to try and drive it as far as I can, and then, putt it into the hole. This game does that. The environments don't look good at all, which isn't a big deal, but is a lot of just sitting around looking at stuff. And it would have been nice if the environments looked nicer, but not a big deal. Character models are okay looking. Character customization is fine. It's more than I expected, but not great. It is cool. You can buy new clothes. It's cool. You can kind of customize your caddy. You can buy new, golf clubs, stuff like that. So there's stuff to work towards. I played the career mode for a little bit and got my ass fucking handed to me by the computer. It was a tournament, so everybody, you don't watch them actually play. You just play, and at the end, it's like, these guys did better than you. I'm like, okay, I'll take your word for it because I'm not great at this game. And on that note, this game has a system when you're hitting the ball that you have to pull back on the right analog stick and then flick it forward. If you do it too fast, it gets pissed off. If you do too slow, it gets pissed off. So there's kind of a cadence you're trying to hit. I just kind of put my thumb on it and do it, and from there I'll watch. It has a thing where it shows the way you're swinging, and mine's all over the fucking place. Even sometimes when I pull to the right, so it'll be like, you went to the left. I'm like, okay, if you say so. But I found that if I put my thumb on the back of the analog, it's a PS5, so it's got, the outside rim and then the inside area, and just barely touch it and pull it back and then flick that part up, I did a lot better. So there's kind of a learning curve there, although, or a skill curve. I've played games like that before. Just this one I was having a lot of trouble with. But also because I just didn't like the way it felt. I didn't feel inclined to try and get better at it. I mean, for a while there, I was like, fuck it. I was just like, shoot.
Yeah, instead of holding it like, this, I had to hold with this hand, like crooked like this, and then make this motion.
Oh, weird.
Because I use my knuckle for the joystick anyways.
Yeah, I try. I almost thought about doing this, but I was like, that'd be cheating. I was like, I need to find like a fork or something that I could just put down like straight and just flick through that. But I was like, that'd be cheating. The whole point of the game is if you can get an accurate shot. So, but I did not like the way this one felt. It also has another mode where you can just press inputs to shoot, and that was worse because I felt like I was like hacking the Gibson. You have to do one phase on like where you're hitting the ball. The next phase you got to hit something else to like how hard you're hitting the ball, and the next one is like accuracy or something like that. There's like 3 different things you got to do, and then it felt worse. So I went back to just flicking the stick. So not a big deal, but not. I don't even feel like I have an issue with that kind of thing in games typically, but this one I was just having issue after issue. So
It's your first time doing it on a PS5 controller though?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't remember. I feel like we played the last one on PS5 as well, but I don't remember.
Yeah,
It's just, it was not that fun for me in that regard. But the golfing physics seem good. It seems a bit minimal in how you can shoot. There's not a whole lot of. There might be ones that I didn't know about. You told me about pressing square when you're putting that I had no idea about, and I played the career, so I feel like I should have known about that. Yeah, you press triangle, it'll like zoom into your ball, and there's another one where like it'll raise the camera up higher than your character to kind of see ahead. I've played other golf games where you can get like a top-down view. This one didn't have that. Maybe it's supposed to be like a sim, but zooming out on your ball isn't very sim-like, so I don't know. Yeah, so the overall golfing aspect, which is the gameplay, is fine. Nothing amazing, nothing bad at all. Not my preference on how you shoot, but that's the way they decided to do it, and I just didn't want to spend the time getting good at that. But yeah, played through a whole thing of that whole tournament, and that was fun enough, even though I do feel like I need to put the shit on easy or something, because the NPCs were really just stomping me. We played multiplayer. That seemed more fun, more my speed, because it was a lot more casual and chill, even though we got the disconnect, which kind of sucks. And then I played a couple, what is this, like free play, yeah, did a little bit of that. And yeah, didn't get to try the 2v2 mode online. I feel like that could be fun, but I'm also not good at the game, so I'm sure people who play this game online are probably really good, so probably did myself a favor. All in all, though, the game is about what I expected. I was hoping to be surprised by maybe in some way, something to be like, oh, this is really cool. I didn't get that out of it, but there's nothing bad about it either. My only complaint is the advertisements, which isn't that big of a deal. It's annoying, but it's not a big deal. If you're hearing anything in the background, we're currently having a storm and there's thunder, which is really weird. So yeah, that's what that is. It's not anyone's stomach or anything. Yeah, the ads are annoying, and then I was really, really kind of blown away by how bad the environments looked, which isn't a big deal. It's all about, you know, how the physics in the ball and everything works, and that was fine. A lot of the putting areas, what's that called?
The green.
The green, yeah. A lot of very subtle little hills that will just take your ball on a goddamn journey. And so the physics work good. So I'll give them that. But overall, game's fun. And yeah, it's fun. Jumping to recommendations. If you're into golf, play it. If you like the PGA series, I don't know if this is a good one, but as a novice to the series, I would recommend you try it.
I don't even know who else makes a golf game on console. I think it is just 2K, but could be wrong.
I don't know. There's a couple like indie golf games on well, I think there's one on PlayStation as well, but Steam has golf games. Sure. So I'm just like out of the loop. I don't know. So yeah, if you're into golf, if you're into the PGA series, even if you're loosely into like the idea of just like putt golf or something like that, you might like this. It's obviously a little different because you got to drive it across the whole course to get to that area, but maybe you'll like it. I mean, it's golf. If you're not into golf at all, this isn't going to change your mind. Although I know a lot of people who never talk about golf or sports ever, but when a golf game comes out, they're like, oh, I like golf games. So I could be surprised on who would maybe be interested in playing this. So if you have like a slight curiosity, it's on PlayStation Plus. Download it, check it out, and see if you like it. But yeah, it's my recommendations.
I don't think there's much to add because it is literally a golf game. So
yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It was free. Try it out, see if you like it or not, I suppose. But if you just are sure you're not going to like it, I don't know if this is going to change your mind. So
yeah, that's what I think too. Jumping to grades. You went first on impressions, so I wasn't really blown away by this. There's not really a whole lot wrong with it, but it didn't have a whole lot of features that got me excited. So I'm going to go with a strong B-. I almost wanted to give it a C+, because for me it is just kind of passing, but like it's fine. It's just not like amazing. And so my preference of it, I don't think should really take away from it too much, because it's not like I don't run any technical issues. I never feel like the game was being unfair to me, even though I sucked at hitting the ball. I could have got better, but yeah, it's fine. But I can't go above a B- because I really kind of feel like on a personal level I want to give it a C+. But because of the quality and everything, I feel like it's only fair to give it a B-. So I'm going B-.
I mean, that's pretty much where I was feeling too. I think there is definitely room for improvement, specifically in like customization and the background on levels and stuff like that. I would also even like to see an even more sim like experience mode that you can maybe do, where maybe you actually have to like travel between the course and stuff. I mean, even when we play, it's a weird example, but when we played GTA Online, doing the golfing was kind of fun because you could like actually do the golf in a more like sim fashion in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
Not obviously not in like mechanics and stuff like that. It's Grand Theft Auto, but you could go from course to course with either walking or driving or whatever. So it's golf. It's supposed to be slow paced, like. And it has the quick mode already in there. So for people who don't want that, they don't have to do that. But I just think it'd be neat. And I think there's room for other types of modes as well.
I would like to see a more expansive multiplayer mode, either online with friends or local.
Bot support. But there's a lot of games that need to do that. But yeah, bot support.
I agree. And this game, I mean, the game already has NPCs off screen getting points. So all they gotta do is show us that.
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool too if they added like that 2v2 mode, you know, with just bots or whatever, offline or, you know, casual mode or whatever. Also be cool to see like, you know, anyone who's playing this game is going for like the real golf experience, probably doesn't care about this as much, but I think it wouldn't take away from the game if they had some like fun golf modes with some more like goofy stuff, or just like, you know, like a party mode, or, you know, even if they had like putt golf or whatever, it'd be kind of interesting just to kind of change things up a bit, because it did feel pretty straightforward on what you do in this game, and it's a golf game, so of course it's going to be like that. But I did feel like you know,
some more like gamey things.
Yeah, well, because I saw that TV2 mode, I'm like, oh, that's cool, and then we couldn't do it unless we played ranked. I'm like, So
yeah, I mean, even like putt or like obstacle courses or whatever.
Sure, yeah, weird courses. They had like, you know, wild stuff. I think that'd be cool. So
yeah.
And you know, before anyone's like, oh, well, it's a sim, that doesn't need to have that. There's other sports games that are like a legit sports game, legit basketball, but they don't have like a street ball mode and all sorts of stuff. And when I see that, I'm typically like, oh, that's cool that they even added that. So I would have a similar reaction in this, and hope they think about that.
Yeah, it wouldn't detract, so I don't see why you'd even care.
Yeah. So you gave it a B-?
Yeah.
Okay, so anything else you want to say on that? All right, that's 2 B-minuses for PGA Tour 2K23. It's fine. Let us know in the comments what you guys think of PGA Tour 2K23. And here's the big question. First off, though, what did you think of it? What were your favorite parts of it? What was the weakest parts of it? And is there any modes that we didn't talk about or we didn't experience that you would recommend us check out? But then here's my big question. What's the best golf game? If you're a golf game fan, what's your favorite one? And
any platform.
And it doesn't have to be a sim. It could be any kind of golf game. Because I always find myself enjoying golf games, but this one didn't really grab me. So if there's a better one, let me know. Or is this the pinnacle and I'm just fucked? Let me know. All right, next game we played this month was, let's go with Death's Door. If you didn't get a chance to play Death's Door is a isometric action game where you play as a Reaper trying to get the souls of giants, I think the story was. I played this early in the month. You're a bird who runs around with a sword, and you roll around. You get a bow and arrow, and you get magic later in the game. It's inspired, in my opinion, by Dark Souls in a lot of ways. Specifically, as you progress through the map further and further, and it gets more and more challenging. There are slight checkpoints. You plant seeds, and they give you health back, and then you have to wait for those to recharge. And then you open up shortcuts. So if you have to go back, you can get back to where you were faster as you progress further. It just kind of rewards you for getting further and further along. Also emphasizes big boss battles. I think these are the same people who made Titan Souls, but I could be wrong because it reminds me a lot of that game. And yeah, you run around, you roll around, you attack things, you try not to die. And yeah, features big bosses to fight. We both played it, and I'll jump into my impressions first. It's weird. I bought this game a while back on an indie sale. Played it a little bit. I mean, a little bit. I was like, yeah, it's neat. I'll come back to this later. I didn't. I never came back to it. So I was excited to hop back into it on PS5, having an excuse and a motivation for the channel to actually play the game. And I found myself enjoying it. I think the game has a minimal yet interesting art style. It is... I can't think of a word that I'm looking for, but I like it. I like the way it looks. I'll just put it that way. Even though it is very minimal. The game plays really smooth, really fluid. Combat is... I like it because you can get killed really quickly, but you can also kill the enemies really quickly. So it's really about reaction time, reading your enemy, understanding the tells, and fights go very fast. The progression is interesting because as you play, you can, I forgot what it's called, but it's almost like a currency. As you kill things, you're able to upgrade your stuff, like I think dodge distance and attack power, which is what I started increasing. So I want to kill things as fast as possible in this game, so the fights don't last long, even with bosses. And so that's cool. I'm glad to see this game, even because a lot of these like indie games like this don't really have like hard progression. They're just kind of like for the experience, where you like unlock the bow and arrow and then you get to use that, but there's no like choice in how you progress. So I appreciate this game has that. Yeah, so combat's cool, smooth and engaging. Art style's cool, progression's cool. It has a good variety of enemy types for the time I played. I only, for reference, got to and beat the witch. So if you played the game, I'm not going to go into the details because maybe you don't want it spoiled for you, but that's about as far as I played. So take that as you will. But the boss battles are cool. They're imaginative. Their designs are really cool. There's like the giant castle house guy that you fight before that, who I thought was pretty neat. Had some pretty interesting tells, some pretty interesting moves. And then the witch I thought was really interesting as well. You know, jumping into her, what is that called? Like cauldron or whatever the hell. So yeah, I only got to mess around with the fireball. So I don't know what other magic abilities there are in the game, but it's cool. It's fine. The bow and arrow is also a lot of fun. I swear, if this is not the same people who made Titan Souls, I'm going to be, well, I'll be whatever. I'll be fine. But the bow and arrow reminds me a lot of that game, because in that game, you literally had one arrow. You had to shoot it and recall it. And then if you got hit once, you died, which is a lot of fun. This could be a completely different dev. I don't know. But yeah, it kind of feels like that a bit. Yeah, exploration is fun as well. There's a lot of little secret things around on the map, little paths that are kind of hidden that when you walk down them, it reveals it to you. So definitely things to explore for. A lot of doors and a lot of things you can't interact with at first, but then you have to come back. So it has kind of a Metroidvania feel to it, but not in a heavy way, because if you follow the channel regularly, you know that neither of us are really big Metroidvania fans. Every once in a while I'll play a game that grabs me that has influence by that. But if it's just like straight up trying to be like Metroid or Castlevania in terms of exploration, the backtracking element of those kind of games, and an example of a game I do like that has something like that is like the new God of War games. I wouldn't call those Metroidvanias, but they kind of feel like it in terms of like when you get a specific thing, you start notice all these things you've been noticing. Now you can break them and get through it. So I can appreciate it, but if a game's like a hard Metroidvania style game, I'm not a fan typically. So that this dabbles in it and is inspired by it, I think is cool. I think it works really well. What else to really add? The bird. The bird is interesting. He plays a bird, and I think it's funny watching like kind of the animations of how you fight. It's an interesting choice, and I don't know much about the story. I didn't pay attention to it a whole lot. I just know you're like a reaper. They call you reaper or whatever, and there's like older ones, and you're stealing souls or taking souls from giants, and I'm sure it progresses into something crazier. And yeah, I could see myself playing this more. I mean, I've bought it and I now have it on PS5 because I don't know if it's the whole game that's only like 3 bosses, but I know at the part once you get past the house castle boss guy, they say there's 3 people you got to go take out, and I only did one of the 3. So I assume you do that. I don't know if there's something after that. It's probably like one big boss after that, but I don't know. And I can see myself playing it more because I think it's a lot of fun. And I say this with a lot of games, but I would like to see co-op in a game like this because I feel like this game would be a lot of fun with a friend. So overall, I enjoyed myself for the most part, and I could loosely, if I had time, and I don't, I have no time right now, specifically for the games that I really want to play, let alone games that I could see myself playing. I could see myself playing this again. So yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. So, right off the bat, the art style is pretty good. The theme of the game is fun. I like the little Shinigami, birds as well, or sorry, reapers. I like the kind of like, how do I word this? uh, Zelda-esque Metroidvania style, like like you were saying, like get the thing, unlock the ability to go somewhere else, unlock shortcuts and stuff like that. I don't like it a lot in games, but if it's done right, it's fine. I mean, even like
It is
Souls
very
games,
Zelda-esque.
have some stuff like that too. So I do think it can be overdone though, especially if you're forcing me to backtrack a lot. I don't like that, but
Yeah.
I didn't play a whole lot, so I don't know how much backtracking you do, but it felt pretty all right when I was playing it. The controls are good. It's snappy and responsive. Yeah, I didn't get like super far because, quite frankly, I just don't find the game fun for me. I have no actual issues with the game. I just not really my play style. I don't play a lot of games that are kind of designed to be on the harder side because I just don't really find it to be like that satisfying. But I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't think I have a whole lot more to add, to be honest, because it's kind of cut and dry how it plays. And
It's a pretty basic game.
yeah.
I think it's one thing I enjoyed about it is the simplicity and like honesty of its gameplay. Like just classic. Move forward, get as far as you can, kill everything.
Big boss fights that you gotta recognize the patterns and then master them and stuff. So yeah, it was fine. So
All right, short and sweet. Some recommendations.
sure. If you're into like old school over the top style Legend of Zelda games that are a little closer to like a Souls style experience when it comes to like difficulty and combat and stuff, it's a pretty interesting blend of the two, I'd say. If you like how do I word this, just indie games in general that have like I'm trying to I don't know where I'm going with this, just indie games in general, I suppose. Yeah, feel free to jump in. So
Yeah, I mean, if you like isometric games that are fast-paced action games, I would recommend this. If you like games where you explore and find stuff, check this out. If you like boss battles in games, check this out. It has good combat as you progress through it, but the bosses really do have their own visual styles, not personalities, but like characteristics and interesting attack patterns, and feel like a good challenge without be feeling like I'm gonna rip my hair out of my head. Yeah, if you're a fan of like older Zeldas from the past, you kind of brought that up, but you might dig this because it kind of reminds me of that. And then it has progression as well, which is pretty cool, and some evolution to the combat as you get new abilities like the fireball and whatever comes after that. Yeah, I think that's about it. It's pretty straightforward. If you're on the top-down action games, you're not going to be into this. So, yeah. Anything else? All right, go ahead and grade it.
my personal interests aside, I don't actually have any issues with the game. So I'm going to give it a strong B plus. I do think is well made. I would go a little higher if it was able to grab my attention and make me want to play it more. But because it didn't, we're going to keep it, I think, at a B plus. So
Yeah, I'm going to give it a light B plus. So still a B plus, but I kind of wanted to give it a B because I think it's good and I like it, but I don't love it. But I can see myself coming back and playing it. I think it does have a lot of character, and the visual style has a thing going on with it that I like. It's really minimal, but also cool looking. So I'll give it a light B plus. It's definitely cool, and definitely a game that if you are into these types of games, I would recommend it to you. It's not even like one where I'd be like, if you don't got anything else, play this. I'd be like, no, you should check that out. Death's Door is really like cool if you're into that kind of game. So yeah, easy, light B plus. Anything else? Let us know in the comments what you guys think of Death's Door. Did you like it? Did you not like it? If you didn't like it, why didn't you like it? If you did like it, what did you like about it? What are other games like this that you're a fan of that you might want to recommend? And what kind of is this a game that I should jump back into and keep playing, or could I take it or leave it? Because yeah, I don't know what's coming up. Don't spoil anything though. But be like, there's stuff you got to check out for sure as you keep playing it. Let me know, because yeah, I'm kind of indifferent when it comes to playing it, but I enjoy myself. So let me know what you're thinking about when it comes to Death's Door in the comments below. Okay, and the last game we played in August was Dreams, and I hesitate to say game, I guess. I mean, you can play games on it, but it's more so a creative tool slash experience software where you're able to make your wildest dreams. You can make music, you can make movies, you can make games, you can make really anything within the confines of what this engine allows. It has tools to make everything to your heart's content outside of there's some limitations on how much you can make because of memory issues, but yeah, and then you're able to put those online. People are able to interact with those things. If you allow it, people can take your assets and use them. And I mean that not just like as in your game or your level that you built, but you could just sit there and make like a character. You can just design a character, and you can design like animations for that, or give it to somebody else and they can make animations for it. So it's this really interesting community tool for making things. When you go online to find what people have made, you find a lot of things from little movies people have made to just some interactive visual things you can kind of check out, to full-on games, and all sorts of stuff. It has a library of content people have made, whether it's assets or interactive things, and you can also check out what's trending, what's popular, what's the most downloaded ones of all time, all sorts of stuff to kind of filter what you're looking for specifically. We both interacted with Dreams in August, and I think you're doing impressions next. So what'd you do in Dreams?
So I didn't make anything. We kind of brought this up multiple times throughout the month, but to make something would take a lot of time. So did not do that. I mostly just checked out other people's stuff.
For the record, when the game first came out, I did mess around with the creative tools, so I have a little bit of knowledge of it already, but I also just checked out what people had made so far, because it's been so long since I last messed around with Dreams that I wanted to kind of see what people are bringing to the table now that they've had time to, get used to how the tools work. So anyway.
Yeah, so I checked out a pretty decent amount of projects. One of the first ones I checked out was a Sonic Adventure style game that
I wonder if it's the same one I checked out, because there's a couple Sonic games.
Well, it was like the highest rated one, so probably.
Yeah.
And it is freakishly Sonic. So the only complaint I have is the controls are crazy sensitive. But other than that, it's a 3D Sonic game where you have to get enough resources to basically unlock the next level, and you just kind of keep going. The music's there, the character models are all there, and that's Sonic and Tails, and even Tails is airplane and all that stuff. So pretty crazy. If it wasn't for the fact that it was like a what do they call that when you can make someone else's stuff, because it's like a creative license thing. I can't remember because it's not being sold basically. Because at first I was like, so they just made Sonic and it gets to stay up here, but it's there, and it looks like it's been a while.
Nintendo takes down shit all the time that people are making just for fun. So I'm really surprised that Sega allows it, because even in the beginning, I think we're talking about the exact same experience, because I tried that one too. And you guys will see footage of that because I have it. In the very beginning, it has the Sega sign, but right above it says Sonic's owned by Sega. It just says Sonic's owned by, and that says Sega.
Yeah.
So like right in the beginning, there's like letting you know, like I don't own Sonic.
But it was probably one of two of the more impressive games that I tried.
It had like a slight bit of jank because this wasn't built from the ground up in like an engine meant for Sonic. But I was really impressed with not only that did it look like a Sonic game, it had the same mechanics and controls. They were sensitive, but like it still felt like Sonic, which was weird. And like it had levels. Like it had like a hub area and then it like had levels, and I was just like, this guy could just make Sonic.
Yeah.
Like, why doesn't Sega just give it to him?
I mean, they did that once. You know, they let someone else make Sonic. So.
Yeah, and it was the one of the only good Sonics in recent memory. So Sega just needs to stop making Sonic and let other people make it.
Apparently.
Because this dude just made it for free.
Well, out of passion, but yes, free.
Made it for free.
So yeah, I played that. Super impressive. I wish I would have tried remembering the names of these projects and who made them. But if you have Dreams installed, you know, I would recommend checking that one out. It's pretty impressive. I played a first-person shooter. I can't remember the name of it, but you go through a bunch of stages fighting. It's like robots and stuff like that, basically. And that was also really well made. The shooting mechanics were a little wonky because obviously, again, the engine is like, you know, made to do everything, and you know, the tools are meant to be able to be used via controller. So
it's interesting too because you'll see like character animations, and like a John Wick experience I watched had like full on choreographed fight scene in it, and these people aren't using mocap technology, so they're doing it like old school style where you have to actually animate it. So yeah, it's that's kind of where you start seeing a little bit of that jank because they're hand making animations, but at the same time, and like in first person shooters, it's meant for everything. That people can even make like I downloaded. There's so many of them. I downloaded one of many Call of Duty Zombies clones.
Yeah, I saw a lot of
this
them.
one was in Mario's Peach's Castle or whatever.
I think I saw that one.
Yeah. And it feels very like it would be unacceptable as like a $60, not graphically, but just like control wise, a $60 game because it didn't feel that good. But I was, even though it was kind of janky, very impressed that like it was a functioning shooter that I was getting better at.
Yeah.
Because like I could like aim down sights and like shoot from the hip and run around, and it had like, you know, a bunch of different guns in it from Call of Duty, which was really weird. Yeah.
This game was I had a pretty similar feel about it. It had 4 weapons. You started off with like, you know, machine gun style weapon, and then you got I don't remember the order per se, but there was a rocket launcher you could get. There was a sniper style weapon. I don't think it was actually a sniper rifle. I think it was just like a single shot rifle. And then there was a pistol, and they all functioned differently and interacted with the enemies differently and stuff. So it was pretty interesting to see the amount of work that was put into that. Just some quick mentions for games I tried. I looked into, you know, some of my own personal interests to see what kind of projects people had made for those. So I checked out 2 or 3 Bleach games. They were all not finished, I'll just say that. Though it was hilarious watching Ichigo run around as if he was borderline flying on the ground. I don't know. It was not polished, to say the least. I did play a One Piece game, and it only let you do one attack. And the enemies didn't really respond to it. They just kind of disappeared when they got hit. So it was also kind of jank. And then
it's interesting. People release things unfinished as well while they're still working on the project. So you can like see what they're doing without it. And like some of them I played, like one was like ultra realistic shooter, and like you start and you're like walking down a rainy street, and I was like, oh, this actually looks really good, but you couldn't shoot and there's nothing there.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're still working on this, work in progress.
Yeah.
I was
Even
like,
that Sonic game says that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yeah, and I'm not throwing any shade or anything. They're doing way more than I'm doing. So
sure.
And then I checked out a random Hololive fan game in there where you ran around as one of the talents uh, on a floating island fighting monsters, which was really weird. Uh, but it kind of had like a Zelda-esque vibe going on with it, the way like you swung your sword and stuff. Outside of that, I did two, just like one was like a statue I could check out, and the other was like a scene where like I couldn't move the camera, so like it was just meant to be a scene in motion or whatever, which I believe was like a Japanese castle. You could change the time of day so you can get like different lighting and stuff like that, but you couldn't move the camera. And then with the statue, it was Ichigo's sword from Bleach, and you could kind of like check it out, and like it was on like its own little stand and stuff, so it was like resting on rocks basically. That one was really well made, and had really neat lighting to kind of make it a little more like artistic looking or whatever. And then I think that was pretty much all I checked out this time. I did kind of look for some movies, but I think I was getting kind of tired, and I just kind of called it a night. So, but yeah, that's what I checked out. As far as like impressions go, I mean, any creative tool like this, I think is just amazing to be able to let people just kind of do whatever comes to their mind, regardless of the quality of it or not. I think this kind of stuff is just amazing because you can kind of see like in people's heads a little bit, and the ideas that they have, and didn't have a way to convey them until something like this existed. So really cool. I will say it. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Like if you don't have Dreams and you didn't download it, you should get it and check it out. It's a very cool suite. So
Yeah, I feel like anyone could get something out of this, whether you want to make things and not even specifically like me. You're like, I want to make games. You don't got to make games. You can just make whatever.
you can make sound effects.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you can literally record sound effects and put those as assets for other, like it's just a community of assets and kind of an amalgamation of different creators all putting efforts in to make more things. So it's an ecosystem of creativity. So it's also interesting to play this game because it's always weird calling it a game too. But I just, for the ease of talking about it, just call it a game. But there's been other attempts at games like this before. The one that I always think about that I thought back then was a decent enough attempt. They wanted to do what this game did. And I figure somebody's going to make something better than this at some point. But this is the best that somebody's been able to do with this. But Xbox had something called Project Spark at one point, and people were able to make things, and you could download them and play them. And a long time ago on this channel, I went through and like kind of sampled a bunch of people's projects. Maybe I should do that again with Dreams. But it was always neat to see what they could do, but you could definitely see the limitations of Project Spark. With a lot of the projects, because a lot of the projects start feeling kind of samey. I don't run into the same thing with this outside of everything has a fuzzy look to it, because all the objects you make in Dreams have like this like cloudy, fuzzy look to the textures. Everything does. So that's the one thing I always kind of notice between all the projects that feels the same. Other than that, though, it's really crazy what people can do with this. It does really allow people to do a lot of stuff. So yeah, really interesting.
yeah.
You have anything else to say? What about the experience of using Dreams? Do you think it's good?
I mean, to be honest, I don't even know how you would do it differently because it just lets you do so much. So it's easy enough to understand. And they do a good job of doing a tutorial, which I had to do again this time for some reason. Because I don't know if it's because I'm playing on PS5 instead of PS4 now, but yeah,
I had to run through like the basics of being able to use Dreams, but not like the creative tools.
Yeah.
It just showed me how to use the cursor pretty much.
Yeah, and you had to pick out like, but they recognized that I was like a founder basically because it gave me like
The snow
special
guy,
one,
the
yeah.
frost guy, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, mostly I was asking outside of the creative tools, but like the experience of Dreams is nice because it feels like you're kind of surfing through YouTube, but for creative projects, and it's really impressive how quickly they load. That was something with Project Spark. It didn't take a long time because it's all within its engine. So basically, when you're making something in this engine, with ones and zeros or whatever information it's using, it's just essentially putting that on a script, I assume, and then just offering it to whoever and just rebuilding that in the engine. I don't know how it works exactly, but this is really fast. There's not like a whole lot of investment in like, okay, I got to download this and to try it out. Like it just kind of,
speeds have gotten much better.
It goes to like but it's like on the internet. So like, however they're conveying this information, which I assume is just code because you already have all the, all the
assets,
engine's abilities installed. It's very fast. And so I think that's key. It's really cool to just be like, oh, what is that? I want to check this out. And you can just instantly start it up, and there's a quick load screen. It kind of fades in and out. Also, I like the seamlessness of how you can fade in and out of experiences like Dreams, so it's kind of cool. But I'm really happy with the interface of Dreams, because it's kind of hard to talk about this without talking about what people have created, the content they've made. What is Dreams? As look around for things, it's made really well. And the creative tools are good too, but I haven't used those in a while. But I remember them being pretty intuitive. It's kind of amazing you can make these things with a controller. So they've done a great job with that. Okay, so the things I did here, I did the Call of Duty thing. It was kind of interesting. A lot of the guns from Zombies was in there. The map was definitely unfinished, but watching the zombies spawn and come at you, and then having the exact sound effects from Zombies. So I'm wondering if Activision knows about this. Was really interesting. It was impressive in a janky way. Surprisingly, it was a pretty viable FPS, even though I felt a little loose. I was still impressed with it, so that was pretty cool. I played a Saints Row style game where you're in a small town. It's a very small town, but it's a town with cars driving around and people walking around. I was kind of blown away by that, even though you can see the cars spawn in and out of nowhere. Obviously, a limitation of the engine, but it had like missions where you had to walk up and it would send you off to do a crime, like go steal the cop car. I had to walk down the street, grab the cop car, and drive it into the bushes. As soon as you touch it, cops are chasing after you, and there's guns, bazookas, all sorts of stuff. And then it had, I think it's called insurance fraud in Saints Row. It had that where you could just stand in the street and try to accrue as much points as possible. So it was definitely somebody's attempt at Saints Row, and it's definitely a Saints Row 1 and 2 style Saints Row, which are the best ones, in my opinion. So that was it was super janky, and you guys hopefully will see it in the gameplay here. But it was super janky, but I was also very impressed somebody made it. So because you could tell they're dreaming big and they're trying to make something that you wouldn't expect from something like this. I played the Sonic game. I was actually impressed with that, and that felt like almost a legit Sonic game. I was like, why can't Sega just make a game like this? They used to. I watched a John Wick short, which was somebody. It wasn't a game. You just watch it. It was like a minute long, and it'll be here. He just fights a bunch of dudes with knives in like a store, and is very impressive, especially because I assume nobody was using a mocap suit. So it's crazy somebody choreographed that with a controller. So very cool. I played a Jedi game. That was very dramatic. The animations were better than what I could do, but interesting. And I fell through, I think I walked into water or something. I don't remember, but I fell through the map. At that point I quit out, but that was interesting. That was kind of cool that somebody even did that. You can tell a lot of people are just like, they're like, what am I going to do? Well, I like Star Wars. I'll make a Star Wars game. And so it's like an unofficial Star Wars game, but it's still like, obviously they're trying to make a Jedi with a lightsaber and enemies from Star Wars. So it's kind of neat that just like you were looking at Bleach stuff. I didn't even think to look up anything personal that I was into. I should go back on there and look up things, see if there's like a Metal Gear Solid attempt or something, or Berserk or something. But the Jedi one was interesting. There was a very, very well made, I don't know if it's made by Media Molecule or not, but it was like a train game where you're a toy train on a toy train track, and you use the triggers to drive forward and backward, and then you use, I forgot what button, some other button on your controller to, there's splits in the track where you can switch it, and you have to go back and forth, and like you have to use the magnets on the toy train to attach to cargo, and then get it. Damn, thunder's going crazy. You have to take it to the end as fast as possible. There's like a time, and it'll like give you gold, silver, or bronze or whatever. So there's almost like replayability there, where you're like, I want to get all the best scores. It felt like a game. It felt like complete. So that was really impressive, simple, and kind of fun. I was like, this is a neat little idea, and it was like realized. They didn't feel like they were kind of dabbling on like, well, can you do this in Dreams? I felt like somebody knew exactly what they could do with Dreams, and they made this. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was Media Molecule. If it wasn't, whoever made it did a very good job. I feel bad talking about people's projects and not dropping their names. So definitely hop on Dreams and look these up. All the ones I played, I wanted to know what the biggest bangers on Dreams were. So I looked up top trending in the last week and of all time. And so I played all those. So if you're looking for any of these that I'm talking about, just do that. You'll find them pretty quickly because these are all really popular. I played basically a tech demo. I already talked about. It's like a first-person shooter where you walk through a little neighborhood. It was very well made, but there was nothing to interact with. And then there's something else I did. There's one where like I was walking down a road and there's cars and stuff, and dudes coming out shooting at me. I'd shoot back at them. That was kind of neat. And then I feel like there was a last thing that I interacted with, but I can't remember. So hopefully it's in the footage over here. But overall, regardless of the quality of the projects that I interacted with, I loved seeing all of them, every single one of them. Even one that I looked at was like unfinished. Like I loaded it up and like they had basically been building like a map. Like I walked through and that was it. But I loved that too because it was neat to see somebody was working on this actively. I'm somebody who likes to make things. I love seeing other people make things, and Dreams is like just that. So it's really cool to see that, and it's really cool to see an engine that they've built that seems to be simple enough for people to grasp and really get into. People, the hardcore are gonna do it, but I've used it before, and it is simple enough to understand. And so they did a great job, especially when you think about that's not on a mouse and keyboard, that it's a controller that's doing all this. It's really impressive, even though you are using basically a pointer with the controller. And there's a lot of really cool options too. You can use like the analogs. There's an option to use the I forgot what they're called, but the wands, yeah. Which I have. I should have tried that maybe. That might be kind of cool to
move controllers. Yeah.
And then the way I do it is I use the motion controls on the controller because it feels really good. But yeah, it's really neat that they even have this. I'd like to know if it's doing well enough. I hope it is, because a project like this I would hate to see not do well because of like, some people need like structure. They need like when they buy something or get into something, they need to know exactly what they're getting into. And this is like a pure creative tool. And I know a lot of people want to make things, and hopefully this can give people that potential if they want to dabble into it. But
for sure,
some people without, guidance or a specific task that they're thinking about might not be interested in picking this up because they might feel like they don't know what they're going to do with it. They don't feel inspired. Maybe they feel overwhelmed with having to learn how to do it. But even interacting with people's stuff is really neat. But I don't know if it'd be enough for everybody. But for someone like me, and you definitely appreciate it as well, it's really neat. I'm glad I bought it when it came out because I want them to get my money. And then coming back to through PlayStation Plus has been really cool too, because there's been enough time now to see what people have been doing with it. And it's really cool. I hope they're able to support this for a while, and I hope the community, I hope there's a community. I hope there's like a big community for this, because I really feel like there's so much potential with Dreams, and I don't know if they could just expand on it or make a Dreams 2, but I really love what they're doing with it. I think they did a great job, and I think this is the best attempt at putting creative tools in people's hands in a simple to get into and hard to master way. It's a really, really good tool and super impressive. So yeah, I really like Dreams. It's fucking great. I loved it when it came out, and I even checking out what people are doing now. Really cool to see. So yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else? All right, let's recommend it. If you like creating things at all, I would recommend it to you. If you like painting, if you like the idea of making movies, if you want to get into making games, if you like making characters, maybe you don't want to make characters, maybe you just like the idea of like animating things. If you're an audio engineer, maybe, if you like making anything, I would recommend this to you. It's really neat. If you're interested in player-made content at all, in any way, any capacity, I would recommend this to you.
This is like base level indie at this point.
Yeah. I don't remember if they had some kind of program. I don't remember what it was though when this game first came out, but I don't remember. I don't want to guess because I don't want people getting the wrong idea. But I think they had some kind of incentive to trying to. I think you own whatever you make. I don't remember. I don't want to speculate. Anyway, it's really neat. If you're into any kind of creative thing, whether you're making or somebody else is making it, I would recommend this to you. It is one of the best examples of it as software on a console. So it's really cool. If you like playing things, video games, like random little like mini games and stuff, I would recommend this to you as well because you're going to be able to find some interesting things to play. And because these are little projects that are being, born out of the, somebody just tinkering around until it turns into something, you're going to run into some interesting experiences that you're not going to get from AAA for sure, but even indie games, because indie games are trying to make a full game to sell you. These people are just kind of like making little experiences, and you might get experience out of it that you wouldn't get somewhere else, like that toy train thing that I played. I was like, this is kind of neat. I don't know if I'd ever buy this. You have to add a little bit more to it if you wanted to make it like a sellable game, but it's very close to something that I think you could sell to people. So there's a lot of really cool stuff there. So yeah, if you like creative stuff, whether you're making it or other people are making it, check out Dreams. That's my recommendation.
I think that pretty much is the recommendation. So
yeah, you want impressions first?
Uh-huh.
What am I gonna grade this? I'm gonna give it a light A. And the reason I'm giving an A is not the specific. A lot of times when I give something an A, it's because it resonated with me. Whether it's the gameplay is fantastic, great, it's the best in class, it's the story is fantastic, all that kind of stuff. This game is none of that. It's what it offers is really unique, and it's awesome to see that kind of tool being put in everybody's hands who wants to get this, especially now on PlayStation Plus. And the really cool stuff people are making with it. And also goes above and beyond in a lot of ways of like prior things like Project Spark that were like pretty neat. It's like a early version of this, but that this even allows you to make like sound effects, music, just assets in general as a community is such a good idea that it's really hard for me to want to grade it anywhere low. I almost wanted to get I almost gave it an A-. I'm like, why the minus? The only reason I'm not giving it an A plus, even though in this genre of very, very small genre of games, it is the best one. But I feel like there's things that could be improved for sure on it. But as for what it is and what it offers and how awesome I think that is, as somebody who likes to make things myself, it's unmatched. So yeah, it's an A, in my opinion. So.
I mean, I'm going to echo the A for basically all the same reasons you said, and I do want to leave some room for improvement because I would love to see them expand upon or create a new tool for people to use. But I just think it is very important to have creative tools out there for people to use and express themselves and create things. Because even if they can't make like something crazy within this, it may inspire them to move on and make maybe the next crazy game you play and love. So,
sure, I could see somebody working on this and then hopping over to making an indie game.
Yeah, or they become like you said, an audio engineer, and they're coming up with these crazy little things that tickle your ears while you're playing a game, basically, and stuff like so. I don't know. I think it's super important also because a lot of programs in general that allow you to create stuff have expensive barriers to entry and then tons of paywalls to get more features. This is not like that at all. So you obviously have to buy it, or in this case, you got it with PlayStation Plus. But that's the barrier entry. That is what it is. You're not going to be asked to buy what are they called, VSTs and paint swatches and all this other crap that creative tools like to and they gotta make money, don't get me wrong, but that's a lot, especially if you're unsure if you're even interested. So yeah, I think they did a really good thing, and I hope they keep doing that kind of stuff. So
yeah, overall, Dreams really cool, and we both like it. Let us know in the comments, what do you guys think about Dreams? Have you used it? What did you do? Did you make anything? And what specifically did you make? Maybe you have a project you want to shout out in the comments. Let us know. I'll check it out if you do.
Sure.
And just let me know how to find it. And if you did, if you kind of checked out other people's streams, what'd you check out? What'd you like? Is there one you want to shout out that I can check out as well? Because there's so much on there. It's like hard. Like I was just like, okay, I'm gonna try this one. I'm gonna try this one. There's a lot of Call of Duty Zombies here, but I'm not gonna play all those. But I'm sure they're all great. And yeah, what'd you think of Dreams in the comments below? And if there's another software out there like this that allows you to create things and share them, let me know. Shout that out. I'd like to check that as well, because I think these things are always really neat. Even Project Spark, rest in peace, was neat when it came out, even though very limited compared to this. But yeah, I think it's going to do it for this episode of Plus Club for August. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check us out on our socials and streams, link down below. Check us out on our Discord, link down below. You can talk to us anytime, all the time. We're on iTunes, Spotify, and the podcast platforms if you prefer to listen to us in audio form. And we have a Patreon if you'd like to support the channel more than liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing if you're brand new. Also, I have shorts here on YouTube and the longer forms of the shorts on TikTok, link down below if you'd like to check that out. And yeah, I've been Seth. Thank you, Chevy, for joining me for this Plus Club. I'll see you soon for Game of the Month, where we will be talking about Outriders. We played it. We beat it. Chevy beat it. I already beat it before, but Chevy has finished the game. So we'll be having a full discussion on the game. And yeah, thanks for joining us for this conversation. And until the next episode, have a good one, guys, and take it easy.